Hello everyone and welcome to Cover 2 TV. I'm Ste, joined this week just by Jenno. There's no Chris, he's off being a dad. He's got dad Christmas nativity / duties, and also he's been very, very ill, so I'm quite glad he isn't here.
He's also seeing Paul McCartney as well, isn't he?
No, he's too sick. So he's actually too... Sorry Chris, I know you're probably watching or listening. He's too ill to even go to a gig, bless him. A gig that he's been very, very desperate to see, poor fella, but he's got the winter bug, so we're just ploughing on with two of us, me and you, Jenno. And what we're going to do today, we're going to tell you, or more specifically, Jenno is going to tell you who is going to make the playoffs this season. Because if you look at the graphics when you're watching the games or something, and in the hunt, and there's about 15 teams, and that's because legitimately there are so many teams that could still make the playoffs, especially wildcard places where there's teams who are on like 6 wins who aren't mathematically out of the ratio, which is crazy at this time of year. We all thought, 10 wins might get you the NFC title, the NFC wildcard place if you're lucky, and it might even be 7 or 8. It's absolutely bonkers, So we're going to go through all that. Obviously the AFC as well. I say you're going to tell us what you think, and I'm going to tell you why you're right or wrong. Or maybe a debate again in the comments below. If you're watching on YouTube, let us know what you think Jenno's got right, what he's got wrong, and conversely, if you're listening on the podcast, you can tweet us at Cover2TV. So Jenno, I'm going to take this off you first. I think we can... Well, the Chiefs and the Saints and the Rams were all pretty much guaranteeing that they're going to be in some capacity. Do you predict the Chiefs getting that 1 seed?
Yeah, I think the Chiefs get that 1 seed.
The only people who really can stop them is the Chargers, and it's mad that the Chiefs and the Chargers are probably fighting for the 1 and the 5th seed, and that they're probably the 2 best teams. Well, they are the 2 best teams record-wise, but obviously same division. They could be the 2 teams with the best 2 records, but... You think the Chiefs are going to be able to hold on?
Yeah, I think the Chiefs just have a good record against the Chargers.
Yeah, and they played each other twice, am I right in saying?
Yeah, also the Chargers' running backs are both hurt going into, I think it's the Thursday night game.
Yeah.
So I believe in the Chiefs ahead of the Chargers for that.
Yeah, and then you've gone the Patriots. In your world, the Patriots 9-4 and the Texans 9-4.
That's That's finished.
Sorry, I do apologise. That's where we are now, and you've got them both finished. That's what you've got them both winning out 12-4. Obviously, the Patriots have the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Are you confident that the Patriots are going? I mean, it's a powder puff schedule. Is it the Bills, the Jets? So they should win out.
It's the Steelers as well.
And the Steelers,
we got the Steelers next, but that game in Miami. I mean, it was just nuts. It was just.
Let's talk about that play then, because
basically the Patriots became the Chargers. It was weird.
Yeah.
We missed kicks, we missed food, and then that last play, which everyone saw.
It was a rare mistake, I thought, by Belichick in that, obviously having Gronk on the field. We know why he's there. He's there because they think, Hail Mary. My thinking was, when I saw the play, where it was coming from, I thought there's no way in a million years this is going to be a Hail Mary, because Ryan Tannehill's arms knackered. It was almost as if they overthought themselves, because I think Devin McCourty's off the field. I'm right in saying if he's on the field, he probably makes that tackle on Kenyon Drake, or he gets closer than Gronk does.
I don't think it matters. I think the fact that JC Jackson missed the tackle, Kyle Van Noy missed the tackle, I think Jason McCourty missed the tackle. 3 tackles,
and then Gronk gets nowhere.
There was a point where Kenyon Drake actually first caught the ball, and his job was actually to throw it on.
Yeah.
And the play's busted because he's got no one to throw it to, and then he just makes one tackle, makes one person miss, another person miss, and suddenly it's Gronk who can't move anymore, running through snow.
And what's crazy is that in your scenario, obviously you've got the Chiefs winning out. No, going 13-3, so 2-1 over the next few games. Without that play, the Patriots would have been the 1 seed. They own the tiebreaker over the Chiefs. You'd have had them both finishing 13-3. What this means now is, in your scenario, if the Patriots do get there or thereabouts, the road doesn't go through New England anymore, which it usually does, and that's usually such a big advantage, as we know. In your scenario, for New England to get there, they're gonna have to go and win in Kansas City. And although they haven't played on the road much in the playoffs, the Patriots' road record in recent years is amazing. Like I say, they don't have to do it.
It's only ever, to be fair, it's just our record in the AFC Championship.
Yeah,
that's the only time we ever.
That's what I'm saying. They don't have to go on the road that often, but when they do, it isn't amazing. And I think Arrowhead in January, that's a big advantage for Kansas City.
I do, if they had a certain someone, because he's gone, I'm not actually that as worried as I would be.
Yeah, possibly. Fair play to you there. Then you've got the Texans winning that division from 9-4. You've got them winning out, like I say, 12-4. And you've also got the Chargers going 12-4, so they'll be the 5th seed. Yeah. You've got the Ravens winning that division at 9-7, and the Colts grabbing that last wildcard place at 9-7. Just looking at what you've got here, you've got the Steelers pretty much falling right out of it. Is there a reason why you don't go for that?
They've got the Patriots and then they've got the Saints.
Yeah.
So I've got them going 8-7-1.
Yeah.
So that means that I can't remember who the last game's against, but if they win that, then that's 8-7-1. If they lose to the Patriots, which I think we're all used to the Steelers losing to the Patriots by now.
That happens a lot.
Yeah, that happens a lot. And then they're at the Saints. So if that was at home against the Saints, I probably felt the Steelers would win there. So Steelers have got to pull out a game against the Patriots or the Saints to go through it, in my opinion.
Yeah, that loss in against the Raiders is absolutely going to kill them, isn't it? The Ravens then, really impressive, I thought, against Kansas City, especially obviously on the defensive side of the ball. With the ball, they're just a running team. That's what they are now. They're doing the exact opposite of what the league's doing. And it's a passing league, and they've got Lamar Jackson running around everywhere. You think? I mean, obviously Jackson, is he going to play this week? We think so. So at the moment you've got their 7-6. So you think they're going to go 2-1 and 9-7 is going to win that division? Did you give any thought to the fact that without that passing game at all, I don't know if you agree, they're going to be in every game because the defense is so good, but they're going to be close games, aren't they? They're not going to pull away from anyone really, just because their passing game it's almost non-existent at this stage.
Yeah. Again, I just basically predict it by matchup.
Yeah.
Matchup by matchup, and that's how it all turns out. And for whatever reason, like the Colts got the tiebreakers over whatever. They got a good defense and they can run the ball, and I think that's actually starting to the league. It's took later than usual for the league to go that way. But if you're actually looking, it's teams who can run the ball and play good defense
are doing well now.
And the teams that we're really looking at, we're talking the Seahawks, the Cowboys, the Bears, the Patriots. These are the teams that are actually starting to take over now. Is the good defense, good
as winters come around. Yeah, maybe you might be right there, mate. So like I say, you've gone. It ends up finishing 1 Chiefs, 2 Patriots, 3 Texans, 4 Ravens, 5 Chargers, 6 the Colts. Then let's talk about the Colts. You've got them 9-7. You've got the Dolphins 9-7, obviously, and the Titans 9-7. You've got it down to tiebreakers.
Yeah, so I don't know what the tiebreakers are. The ESPN player.
I can tell you one of them. The Colts always own the Titans, so that's why theirs is on there. It might go down to strength of schedule and stuff. The Colts then would be an interesting 6 seed. I don't think, so in your scenario, they would play the Texans again.
Yeah.
They probably would fancy their chances. I know it was a different game when they played each other twice, but divisional game, Andrew Luck's playing as well as anyone. I think you can nail him on for comeback player of the year now. He wouldn't have no qualms about playing those Texans, even on the road. They're a potentially dangerous now. I don't think they can win the Super Bowl, but I think they can win a playoff game. I don't know if you agree.
I think they can. I mean, I was looking at, I think their last game was against the Titans, and that was a kind of win and goes in kind of situation. And I believe sometimes when it goes to that, I just believe in the best quarterback.
Yeah.
Pick the best quarterback to win. I think that's how you tend to go well when you're picking games, or if you're betting. That'll be always my idea. And no one wants to play the Colts with Andrew Luck, because we've seen in the playoffs him be down by a lot and come back.
Yeah. He's carried that team to title games, hasn't he? Worse teams than he's on now, and he's got them title games like. They've been stomped by the Patriots when they got there, but they have gotten there a couple of times.
They were a bad team, but they were lucky enough to get through, and I can see that again. I can see them being able to outscore the Texans if they were to go through.
And the last thing the Ravens want is the Chargers.
Yeah.
But again,
that actually match does happen next 3 weeks.
Yeah, it will. That's going to be an interesting one. So let's flip over then. Like I say, in the comments below, let us know where you think Jenno's right. If you support an AFC team and Jenno didn't mention you, again, at TD Jenno on Twitter.
I think you've got to get at least 9 wins, and they're the teams who can
get 9 wins. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's crazy that the wildcard race, the AFC, is probably a bit more.
The AFC is just much better this season.
Yeah, which is odd. It's a flip reverse. So you've got the Saints and the Rams both finishing 11-2.
No, that's again.
I've got back. The Saints and Rams are 11-2. You've got them both finishing 14-2, which gives the Saints the tiebreaker after that game. I'm saying Bears 12-4, 3 seed. You got them winning out. So beating my Packers this week. Fair enough. I can't complain with that. Dallas 11-5, Seattle 11-5 as a wild card, and you've got the Vikings 8-7-1 getting them into the mix. Let's start then with the Bears. They won against the Rams the other night. They did it, like you mentioned, running game, special teams, defensively, because their quarterback was atrocious. I think he was really bad. Having that Jared Goff was also atrocious. Does that, you mentioned it before, but you know, the best teams and the best quarterbacks tend to do well. Again, Trubisky's been okay at times, but that was a bad game. And if I said to you, he's Blake Bortles of the North, do you think that's an unfair comparison? Because that's what I feel in my head, is that his legs are good, when his defense is good, and when he's on it, he's fine. But he is prone to looking. There's games where his technique just completely lets him down, and that's what it looked like against the Rams the other day.
I can see what you're saying, but he's not giving games away the way Bortles does.
He was close to in that game, to be fair, wasn't he? That one, I mean, Khalil Mack helps him.
And again, I think I'm not a big fan of Trubisky. We spoke about this, but I think his legs are brilliant, much better than anyone gives him credit, even though that's all I seem to say everything about him, because he can't throw the fucking ball. So I believe in the Bears, and I just said that matchup just didn't suit LA, going all the way to the frozen tundra. They were fucked going to Soldier Field. I think that's why I thought it, and that's why I thought we'd see Jared Goff implode, and he did.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
But I think the thing is, so the Bears winning out, I can see, but I think they're going to lose in the playoffs, because I think they're going to have to go into the Dome, or they have to go into SoCal, and that's where they'll get battled, because the weather stops being a factor.
Yeah, they're either going to go into into California, or obviously into that Dome. I mean, Dallas at 11-5 is interesting, wasn't it? It wasn't that long ago that we'd almost written Dallas off, and then they went and traded for Amari Cooper.
Guilty.
No, listen, I think we were all quite underwhelmed, but defensively they're excellent. They are great. They've got a great running back, a truly great running back, and the Amari Cooper trades paid dividends. I mean, Oakland now have traded 2 first-round picks away to teams who they thought were going to get low picks, and they're going to be
They would have got low picks if you didn't.
Trade. They gave you, by giving those good players away, they've made those picks into potentially, but they're going to be late 20s, because they're going to be two seeded teams in the playoffs. But to me, Dallas look like that type of team who can win the Super Bowl this year. I think we've already seen them stifle the Saints. You could see them doing similar to the Rams again. It would be inside, it would be in a dome, and the weather wouldn't be as big a factor. You could certainly see them beating the Bears. They're probably going to get a game against the Seahawks in the wild card. You could definitely see them beating that. Dallas have gone from a team that were almost a bit of a laughingstock under Jason Garrett, who were full of injuries, to a team now who you can definitely see as like genuine contenders.
I think the big change for me is when Sean Lee went down and he put Van Der Esch and then Jalen Smith, and then they come into their own, and suddenly they've got a monster defense. Because I always thought the linebacking core was overrated. I've always thought Sean Smith was overrated. I just think they had nothing behind him, so he looked better than he actually is.
Yep.
Sorry, is it Sean?
Sean Lee.
Sean Lee, yeah. Sorry.
Go on.
Yeah, so that's what I always thought. Now they've got him on defense. Amari Cooper's looking like the one that first coming to the league that everyone was excited about. So it shows you, whatever reason, he just needed to leave Oakland. Yep. Sometimes we see that. Sometimes players just need. Randy Moss, for example. Randy Moss at the Raiders looked absolutely terrible coming to the Patriots, and then was back being the Hall of Fame, most unstoppable wide receiver we'd seen. So I think he just needed that change of scenery.
It's been such a huge trade, hasn't it?
Because I don't even think Dak Prescott's playing that well. But Amari Cooper's making enough plays, and he can run the ball with Zeke. Because if you're giving that, you're not allowing teams to just stack the box on Zeke, then they can just keep it close and grind games out, and that's what they're doing.
And earlier in the year, we were saying, the Dallas' issue is people will just man up against. They are one-on-one with the wide receivers. They can't get open, and therefore there's nothing that Zeke can do. He's facing stacked 8-man boxes every single time. No one's worried about Cole Beasley, any of these guys. The tight ends aren't particularly fantastic either. That one trade, and we all kind of mocked. I thought we all mocked it a little bit at the time. We thought it was a big trade for Dallas to do. It was like, that's a lot to give up for a guy who, quite frankly, was beginning to look like a bit of a bust. But now he's come back, like I say, changed the scenery, for whatever reason, he now looks like he's a number one receiver again, and they're going to have paid 24, 25, 26, at least, it could even be 32 for that. It's worked out really well for them. And it's amazing now, if you look at these two teams, the Bears and the Cowboys, you can legitimately say those two trades have got them where they are. Without Mack and without Cooper, we're probably looking at 8-8 teams, and those trades could be worth 3 or 4 wins to both sides.
Yeah, it's being aggressive and going for it. That's what both teams have done. Both teams, I mean, I didn't believe the Cowboys when they did it, but they felt we were just a wide receiver away.
They were right, yeah.
And they were right. They were better self-scouting than I was. Yeah. And though they're going to have to pay Cooper now, they'll pay him a lot of money. And there's still questions of if he's worth it. Well, if he keeps this form up,
he is, yeah, absolutely.
Then he's clearly worth it, and it's actually a brilliant move by Jerry Jones, which is A surprise, to say the least.
Yeah, for sure. Seattle, then, you've got them going in as obviously the highest wild card. They're not going to catch the Rams by now. But 11-5 for a team who, again, many people, including myself, are written off. They're doing it based, again, the defense is really stepping up. They are, what I would say about them compared to maybe Dallas or maybe Chicago is they do look like they've got a bit more offensive firepower about them. So Tyler Lockett, they've got obviously Doug Baldwin's come back. More the wide receiver. Russell Wilson's starting to play better than he was.
Except on Monday.
He wasn't particularly great, but he won.
Yeah.
He's getting protected pretty well. Again, Monday was a bit different, but on the whole, compared to what he had been, he's looking better. And again, they're another team who you look at coming into your building, and I think they're such an experienced team in terms of coaching the quarterback. They've got some of the defenders are still there. Bobby Wagner's a freak, and he can dominate, take over games. They're another side. Again, in your scenario, they go to Dallas, and I think that would worry Dallas. It would be an old school game, but it would almost be Dallas looking a little bit in the mirror and thinking who's the better. And where you said before, if it's that close, you pick the better quarterback, then automatically that gives Seattle a big advantage.
Yeah, I think Seattle. It's if you're willing to play the way to beat Seattle, which we'll come on to the Vikings in a minute. But it's all about wheel routes and short throws. And
you've got to get away from those linebackers.
Yeah, you spread the field and you just take 4 or 5 yard throws consistently, and that's how you beat Seattle. I don't know whether the Cowboys are built to stop that. I don't know whether the Cowboys are built to implement that. So that's a worrying thing for the Cowboys, because they'll be happy to see all these big offenses coming through them, because they'll be like, no, we can shut you down and then run the ball. Playing a team who's also going to shut that down and run the ball. That could be
another Monday night. That could be like Monday where it's 9-6, 12.
That's going to be
9.
You want a low scoring playoff game. That's the one you're thinking of. That's the one that's going to be a struggle.
And when you're a road team in the playoffs and you're the wild card, that's what you want. I think you don't want to shoot. You're very rare you want to shoot out. Some teams do it. Again, the Packers have gone to Dallas and won a shootout and stuff. But the Seahawks or that team, you want to grind you down. And Dallas are of a similar mold, and that game will be one where it's going to be 1 or 2 plays, isn't it? It's going to be one fumble of a running back or one missed block, because thinking about it, I think it would be advantage slightly Seattle in that. And for me to say that, having about 8 weeks ago thinking Seattle were done, for them to go and win a playoff game, I think that's huge credit to Pete Carroll and the coaching staff, because I don't think that roster's particularly great. I think it's got some great players on it, but there aren't many what you would call blue chip players. You know what I mean? Russell Wilson's a blue chip player. Bobby Wagner's a blue chip player.
We're searching then, aren't we? Let's face it.
You're looking for good, like they got good receivers. Dwayne Brown's a good tackle, but there's no. Again, I like KJ Wright's injured, isn't he? So he doesn't really. He will be up there. Frank Clark's a good player, but there's no superstars. I think it's a credit to Carroll. I think he's a really good coach. I've always thought he was a good coach. I mean, I think
I remember at New England.
Yeah, again, yeah. He's been a great coach in Seattle, but I think that's credit to them. And then finally, the Vikings at 8-7-1, who. I mean, Chris is near to defend this team, but I'm going to go on at the minute. They look like a team. They look like shrinking vibes at the moment, which is quite apt considering the colours. But I mean, even then, they look like their team. If they went into the playoffs 8-7-1 and had to go to Chicago, they could win because they've got some start again. They've got stars, but you just do not fancy them in any game. And unfortunately, at the moment, Kirk Cousins is getting this reputation, rightly or wrongly now, as being a little bit of a choker in big games. And I don't know what your thoughts were in that case. I thought he was pretty poor on Monday night. Would you think that reputation's fair that he's starting to get? I know you've always been a fan of Kirk Cousins.
I think so. Just for the record, even if they go 7-8-1, from my predictions, they actually still make the playoffs, because that's how bad the NFC is.
Wild cards and tiebreakers. Yeah,
because it'd be them and the Packers 7-8. Anyway, but I think the problem is, and it's why John Defilippo's just lost his job, they won't run the ball. They won't commit to the run. We spoke about it the other week. They keep trying to play this air-out offense. That's not even Kirk Cousins' skill.
No.
You haven't got a guy who's got this big cannon arm. You've got a guy who's a smart quarterback. Well, that's...
You would think as well, he looks the perfect play-action quarterback.
Yeah.
And there's no play-action because there's no running game. And they've got a really good running back. I don't know whether they don't fancy the blocking, or they don't fancy the back, or it was just Defilippo's game plan. Like I said, you mentioned there, he's now been sacked, the offensive coordinator. It looked to me, they're built to go running game defense. But on top of that, then you've got the star wide receivers as well. But for whatever reason, they chose not to play that.
Yeah, I mean, and we clearly see Mike Zimmer wasn't that because he kept saying, we need to run the ball more, we need to run the ball more. And he's basically just sacked them because they're not running the ball.
Yeah.
And it seems to both, one, the offensive strategy against Seattle, as we just said, he just wants to see to throw a downfield to Diggs and Thielen got absolutely nothing all game. Because I think teams realise that you double team Thielen, not Diggs, and that'll be much better for you because you stop all the first and third down throws.
Yeah.
But I just think maybe with this new offensive coordinator they've just promoted that they're going to commit to the run. Let your big guys up front go and hit some people. That's what offensive linemen want to do. They want to run up and hit someone. They don't want to pass block
all the time.
They don't want to do full stop. They will do it because that's how they make the money, and that's how they get paid, and that's how you win games. But really, they want to run and smash into some linebackers.
Yep.
Open some gaps. I think that's what they need to do. They need to commit to that. Otherwise, if they limp into the playoffs, can't the way I think they are, they're in for the hiding against someone.
The only team potentially, again, the Packers are probably out of it now just because the Vikings own that tiebreaker. I think the Vikings would pretty much have to lose every game for the Packers to get in. I think I'm right in saying, and they'd have to win every game, which isn't unreasonable. But added to that, there's all different scenarios. The Panthers are in the mix. I bigged the Panthers up a while ago, and looking back on it now, I believe what I said was right. I think what's killing them, Cam's hurt.
Yeah.
Cam's not Cam, and you can tell this. But if you watch the first quarter of a Panthers game compared to the fourth quarter, it's like a different guy throwing it. It's almost like they painkiller him up and they inject him up and they give him all the time, whatever they need to get into him, steroids, whatever, into his shoulder, and it works for a while. But then ultimately, unless they get a big lead, they're going to struggle because by the end of the game, he's sailing passes. He's not anywhere near, and then he's never been the most accurate quarterback anyway. Take away the fact that he probably doesn't want to run as much because his shoulder's killing him. We're almost at a point now where that's pretty much derailed their season, which is a shame because I thought they were a very good team.
Basically the quarterback's shoulders fell off.
Yeah.
I've said it for a few weeks now. It's been clear to everyone his shoulders fell off and he just can't complete games because of it.
Yeah.
As you say, it's as the game goes on, the mechanics completely go and the ball's sailing everywhere, and I don't think they have. Christian McCaffrey's been brilliant this season, but he's not a guy you can just give it the ball to and go run between the tackles, eat up the clock and kill the game. That's not his skill set. No. His skill set is catching passes, running outside, getting space, making people miss. He's not a guy who can just run in front of people, and that's the problem. That's why I think the Panthers are actually only winning like one of their last 3 games, because your quarterback's finished and your defense is old. Your defense has looked a lot older this season and starting to catch up with them. I mean, it's the same players we were talking about when they went to the Super Bowl. Was it 2015 when they got blown out? There hasn't been enough movement. There hasn't been enough youth, and also surprisingly for me, they're talking about firing Ron Rivera, which I'm surprised at because I think who's your alternative? Who are you getting in that's better than Ron Rivera?
I think he's a good coach.
There's strong rumours saying if they don't make the playoffs, they're going to get rid of him.
Big Ron will be on as well. Yeah, it'd be a surprise. And then finally, the last one, I suppose we could say Philly are still in the mix at 6 and 7, but again, they look like a team that, I don't know if it's Super Bowl hangover. I think that can be too easy sometimes. Injuries have hurt them a lot. They've lost again. They got picked off because that's what the Super Bowl teams do. You tend to lose. You don't lose your stars. You lose the next layer. So you lose your Trey Burtons. That level of playing it ultimately eats away. Yeah, but they're 6 and 7 as it stands. They would probably need 3 wins. You think?
Basically, if any of these teams wins out,
they'll be in.
They'll be in.
We don't trust the Eagles at all.
I don't trust any of them to win out.
No.
It's even why, like I've said, the Giants are still a contender here because they're more likely to win out than anyone else.
And they could get to, if the Giants make it at 8 and 8, it's not beyond the realms, is it? Which is bizarre. But yeah, I think so just to clarify, Jenno's gone. Saints 1, Rams 2, Bears 3, Dallas 4, Seattle 5, Minnesota 6. Interesting playoffs, if I'm honest. I'm not particularly sure Vikings, Bears, Dallas, Seahawks will be the most high-octane offensive wildcard rounds, but I think it'll be interesting football. I think there's a lot of, like me, I'm quite into defensive football at times, which is you need a bit of it. I'm like, as great as the Chiefs Rams game was, I'm more of a fan of 20 plays 20. I don't want the other day when it was 3-7 or whatever, 3-6 going into the fourth quarter, but they'd be some interesting games. let's move on then, Jenno. Let's do some picking. You probably tipped your hand a little bit in terms of what you think, but like I say, let us know in the comments below who you think are going to be seeds 1 to seed 6 in both divisions. And if you think Jenno's an idiot, feel free to tell him as well.
I am.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Just in general.
Thursday night football this week. It's a good one. The Chargers at the Chiefs. I'm going to obviously go to Chiefs. I think we always speak about teams owning teams, and the Chiefs just pick the Chargers up and put them in their back pockets quite often. And I think it'll be a closer game than usual. I don't think it'll be a blowout, but ultimately I've got to back the Chiefs at home.
Yeah, I've with Chiefs because there's no Melvin Gordon or Austin Eckler. So without who's going to run the ball?
Is Mahomes your MVP now?
There's 3 weeks left.
If
I give it right now, I'd give it to Mahomes, which was annoying me because I said Drew Brees before the start of the season. I've been like, I've got a rooting interest.
I've got money on Drew Brees.
Yeah, so I've got rooting interest. So I think Drew Brees needs to have a really good last 3 weeks.
But right now it's Mahomes.
But right now you'd have to go Mahomes.
Yeah, I agree. So them throw the 4th and 19 the other day was absolutely incredible. You've got Houston, obviously. You tipped your hand before. You got win now, so you've got them beating the Jets. I don't think there's much argument there. What I would say is that I don't think Houston are that good where you can just hand them anywhere at the moment. Having said that, I don't think the Jets are much cop at the moment, but I know Houston are 9-4, but there's no game where I think they are absolutely nailed on, put your life onto it. Like the spread on that, I don't know what it is.
Well, we were supposed to not speak to Houston till the end of the show because we said, oh, we haven't mentioned them. We'll mention them if they win. They're gonna go fucking beat.
Yeah, we did. We said we would dedicate the top of the show to Houston. Remember, and you lost. You blew it. Therefore, you only get a quick mention against the Jets. 6 and 7 Broncos, technically on the brink, maybe.
Yeah.
The 5, 7 and 1 Browns, technically they're about 8, 7 and 1 might get you in the playoffs. But
well, if they can win the division, it's not getting a wild card.
No, 8, 7 and 1 could theoretically win that division. It depends again with the ties with the Ravens, with the Steelers. It doesn't help them too much. But I think Cleveland win on the road.
Yeah, I do as well. I'm a big fan of what Cleveland are doing.
I'm a big Baker Mayfield fan.
So am I. I mean, you told me I would be, and I was like, nah, he's a prick. And then no, I'm all in on him.
Yeah, literally. The 4 and 9 Falcons, 3 and 9 Cardinals. I'll go Falcons, but I don't care.
Falcons, but who gives a flying fuck?
These Ravens are home to those Bucks.
Yeah, I'm going Ravens.
Yeah, I think the Ravens are home. I think the Bucks have been quite impressive recently, but the Ravens defense is legit for me. Lions, Bills, who cares? Lions. Packers, Bears.
I've got Bears.
So am I. I think Bears as well. What we'll say on Green Bay, the offense was much better the other day. It was much, much better. But the Falcons weren't much cop at all. But Rodgers looked more like Rodgers than he has done for a long time, which has pissed me off, to be honest. Because if we'd have won that Cardinals game, we would be in.
In fact, if you'd have won that Cardinals game, you'd have probably made the playoffs.
Yeah, well in it, and now it's not. That's annoying. Again, is what it is. The Bengals and the Raiders.
Raiders, but who gives a fuck?
I'll go Bengals, but again, meaningless. This is a big one, I think. It's one of those rare cross-promotional playoff implications on both sides of the conferences. Dallas go to Indianapolis, 8-5 Dallas at the 7-6 Colts. That's a good game.
Yeah, I've won Colts, I think.
Yeah, you have. Looking at your record there. No, you never. I'm telling lies. You never. You've got Dallas winning out. 11-5.
I kept changing because that was a 50-50 game. Yeah. I wasn't sure.
This is huge. This because in theory Dallas winning, they're in. They're probably in anyway. That's like 90% as we speak. If Indy get this, they probably end up being the 5 seed, not the 6 seed. Which again, it means that rather than going to the Texans,
I think they still end up being.
They would be the 6 seed because the Chargers.
Yeah.
But what it would mean is that you theoretically could have them going potentially if Houston fall off. Yeah. They are technically still in that division race, but
yeah,
Dallas. I'm torn on that.
Yeah, see, because you got to think like Leonard. It's almost like rookie defensive MVP versus rookie defensive
Those
MVP.
Those linebackers, yeah.
Leonard versus Van Der Esch, where Leonard took Nuke Hopkins on his own.
Yeah, in coverage.
Nuke Hopkins in coverage.
Well done, yeah.
I'm
gonna go Dallas. I think they play the game on their terms and ultimately just grind one out. Jaguars, Redskins, not bothered. I'm gonna go Jaguars. just because
Jaguars, because I think
Mark Sanchez,
it's not going to. It's going to be
Josh Jackson.
I don't know. Some American hillbilly name.
Fair enough. Dolphins, Vikings, another one with huge playoff implications. And if this was in Miami, I'd pick the Miami Dolphins, I must admit. But the fact that it's in Minnesota, I'm going to go Vikings. But again, I don't think the Vikings are gimme wins against anybody at the moment.
I don't think the Vikings are very good. We got beat by the Dolphins, I don't think they're very good.
Yeah.
But one thing they did do against the Patriots is they took away the run. So as we were talking last week, we said, how did you have the Patriots change? I said, yeah, we're now running team. The Dolphins took it away from us. And the second half, Patriots massively struggled. Yeah. So, I mean, they could do that.
How's Brady? I know he was slightly hurt, or is he fine?
I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, just come back to that in a minute. Titans are still definitely very much in the wild card race, if not the division race. The Giants are 5-8. I think the Giants are going to win this.
Yeah, I'll go Giants.
I don't know why. I think Saquon's incredible. He's everything and more.
He is everything and more, and Eli's playing a little bit better, and the offensive line's playing better. But
too little, too late. But promising. What you know? It's going to do.
It's going to be out of the way of getting a quarter. Oh, they're going to buy into Eli and give him a new 4-year contract.
Yeah, it's going to keep. It's going to keep Eli again.
Go ahead.
Eli saving his job. I imagine we both think the Seattle are going to win in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Patriots, Steelers. In theory, this is a tough game. Again, like you mentioned, the Patriots own the Steelers, even in Pittsburgh. But I don't think you can... Again, the way the Patriots played the other day, I don't think you can rule them out. I do think ultimately they win on the road, but I think it could be a tough game.
Yeah, it's always going to be a tough game. I mean, we always joke that we beat them, but it's not like we beat them 14-0 every time, is it? There's quite a few calls and stuff go one way or the other. I think what's good for the Patriots is Gronk looked good last week.
Yeah.
Let's forget that
he can't play safety.
He can't play safety. The fact that he can't move anymore. He caught 8 for 8 passes for a touchdown, 100 odd yards.
Yeah.
So he looked at least like a receiving threat again. He can't run after the catch anymore.
He'll catch it in a fall down, but
he's going to catch it, but he catches everything. Yeah, he's back to catching everything.
Eagles, Rams.
Rams.
Yeah, I think that's right as well. Which is a surprise that we can just completely write off the Super Bowl champions, but that's kind of where we are.
You do that every year. I think the other thing, I don't think people put on, Carson Wentz tore his knee last year, wasn't it? It's going to take him at least a year just to get back to anything.
I agree.
I don't think people are putting enough on that. Yep. I know he looked fine when he first come back, but
he tore his knee.
He tore his knee. You usually have to give someone a year to come back.
And then finally, Saints go to Carolina. You win and clinch the bye if they for sure. If they win it, I think they'll probably do it.
I think the Saints as well. I think the Saints is.
And if they do that, if I'm Carolina, I think after that week I'd probably sit Cam Newton. I know technically you can't now because they're still in the mix, and I understand that. But look around, if you don't mess around with shoulders. Look at Andrew Luck, you lose him. And the Colts lost the Luck for a season because he played with an injured shoulder for too long.
It was basically 2 years.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
It was a year where he was bad, and then the injury. I think if New Orleans win that game as I expect them to do, if I was the Panthers, I'd probably consider sitting Newton down, even though you're technically probably still in the mix. I think it's too big a risk.
You can't, though, because as I said,
they won't because they're still in the playoff mix. But I think I worry for Cam. This is his second one now. This isn't the first time. I know people haven't been watching NFL for that long might not be aware of Chad Pennington, and I know Cam Newton's far better than Chad Pennington ever was. Chad Pennington was very good for a while.
Chad Pennington was a quality quarterback.
He was very good for a while. His shoulder fell off.
Yeah,
it worries me about Cam.
There was even that year at the Dolphins where he had half a shoulder left, and still they got to the playoffs that year because he's decent.
Cam's getting to that stage where it's getting bad. So fingers crossed it doesn't. Jenno, thanks very much. We'll leave it there. Like I say, if you watch on the YouTube channel, let us know in the comments your AFC wildcard and divisional winners, and again, same in the NFC as well, and we'll go from there. And Jenno, been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks very much everyone for watching and for listening, and we'll be back next week with Cover 2 TV. Goodbye.